What is going on, guys? My name is Echo and welcome to a brand new series. Today we're going to be starting a series called Throwback Thursday. Now, for the people who don't know what Throwback Thursday is, it's kind of a trend. It mainly started on Twitter, so I believe, and it's where people talk about their past life, not past life, but younger life, what they did, what they missed, whether it be something as a kid that they missed. So I'm going to be starting this series where I'm going to be talking about my life from what I did as a younger kid up until now. We're going to go through stages. It's kind of going to be like a Draw My Life, but in separate videos. Because at the end of this month, guys, I turn 21. I'm a fully grown adult. I'm not a kid anymore, which I really wish I was. I don't ever want to grow old. I want to stay young forever. I want to have so much fun like I did when I was younger. So we're going to be starting this series every single Thursday. You're going to be seeing some sad, some happy, some wacky, some weird, some wonderful episodes throughout this series. So I'm hoping you will fully enjoy this. And if it is something that you do enjoy, guys, seeing my face every Thursday, be sure to thumbs it up. Thumbs it up. Yes, if you can, because I appreciate it. It shows me that you guys do fully enjoy it. But let's get into this. So the first episode is going to be from when I was pretty much born, kind of till up and now. I'm going to go through stages of this one thing that happened to me from when I was born. It's kind of sad, but it's going to end up on a high. You're going to see quite a few of these. So this first episode, I'm going to be talking about a disease that I had from when I was born. Now, it's not a disease that you catch, that I'm infected or something like that. It's a disease called Perthes disease or Perthes disease. I will have a link down below in case you want to read up on it. But basically, it's a disease I had in my hip. Now, normally a hip joint is like this, ball and socket like this, and it rotates your leg so you can do this. Basically, I never had one in my right hip. It was completely non-existent. And from when I was born, when I was younger, my parents and my family didn't know about this. And I got it diagnosed, I believe I was about 5 years old. So until I was 5, I was suffering with this with no help, no explanation, etc. And it was very, very hard. I remember it was very mainly hard on my parents, because, especially my mum, because when I was younger, my dad was in the army, so he was traveling a lot, we were moving a lot. My mum had to look after me, especially with my condition, my brother and my sister. And we were all young. There's like 7 years between us all in total. 3 between me and my sister, and 7 between me and my brother. So we was all kind of growing up at the same time. So 3 kids, so my mum was like, crazy! So I had this when I was born, and no one ever knew about this until I was 5. But I remember when I was younger, that I just could not walk. I crawled absolutely everywhere. I crawled when everyone else was walking, such as like kids my age. And my parents never knew about this, and it was only when they took me to hospital, they did tests. I've had so many needles, I've had so many tests done on me. My medical files is about this. I've been under anesthetic constantly. I was one of the first kids in Britain to have an MRI scan just to see if it was anything to do with my brain or anything like that. And I've pretty much had possibly everything done to me in a hospital, which is crazy, and it's scary at the same time, especially since I'm only 21 at the end of this month. There's a lot of things that happened when I was younger. So I had this up until I was about 18. Well, continuing when I was younger, the hardest thing for me is that being told that I couldn't do things, that I couldn't play football, I wasn't able to run for long, I wasn't able to join in when I was in school and like activities, you name it, like running around. As a kid, that's what you want to do. That's all kids do. They want to just run everywhere. And I was one of those kids, because from this day now, all I ever did when I was in high school was sport, athletics, tennis, everything, football, you name it. I was sport crazy, and I am still to this day. You guys only know one side of the story about me, which is why I made this series. And as I was getting older, it was getting better. And I remember I was constantly going to physio, because they were worried that your feet are normally like this, like straight like this. They were worried that my right one was going to end up like this, and I'd be like a penguin, and I don't want to be a penguin. So I remember going to physio all the time, and the physio was a hottie, but I was only young. You have a crush on them, you know what I mean. That's what I remember when I was younger. So I would go there constantly, and I was just till I was about 10. I remember that when I was in primary school, so when I was in lower school, not nursery or not, it was like when I was in year 6, for the people who may know this in UK. If you're not in the UK, I'm sorry, I don't know how old I was. I was just young. And we went to the lakes, which was kind of like a school thing that they did at the end of the year. Everyone was like, yeah, we'll go down here and we can do activities like rafting, abseiling, etc. And there was one thing that I wanted to do. Yeah, there was one thing I wanted to do, but I remember this one time that I ticked it on my sheet and we passed it into the teachers. But at this time, my parents had told my teachers what was wrong with me. They explained everything, because I believe this condition you get, I don't know, it's like, it affects like 1 in a crazy number. It's a very rare condition, and not many people do have it indeed, which is kind of weird. I kind of feel special in my own way, because I was diagnosed with this, and I kind of class myself as I beat this. And I remember this time, all my teachers knew, so when I was doing PE, sport, if I wanted to stop, I could. And I remember sometimes when they make you do stupid things, I'd be like, my hip is sore, I don't want to do this. But we all did that, and I realised that I should never ever have done that, because you should never be like complacent on what you have. So they all knew, and I remember this time I ticked it on the sheet, I gave it to my teacher. They all checked it all out, and it came back to me, and the head of the school was going around and was like, yeah, you got this, yeah, you got that, everyone was happy. And I remember this time he pulled me out of the class, and he looked at the sheet, and he was like, unfortunately, Scott, because of the condition that you have, we are unable to give you that placement on that thing. And I remember that time going home and just crying to my parents for about a week straight, because I wanted to do this. All my friends were doing it, everyone got to do it, and I wasn't able to do it because of this condition. So I kind of was like, why is it me? What have I done wrong in life? Why do I deserve this? I just want to have fun, etc. And basically, I just broke down, and it must have been very hard for my parents to say, like, they told the teachers that I couldn't do it. They didn't want me to do it. So it must have been hard for them to be like, I don't want him to do it, but we want him to do it because he wants to. I don't want to, no parent wants to see their children sad at all. So it must have been very hard on my parents to see that. But anyway, that went past. We went to the event. It was very sad, and I was like, and I got over it. And then as I passed that, I remember joining a football team, and I was going to hospital constantly, and they were saying, I'm developing well. He's kind of doing a little bit better than we ever did expect. So I kind of was beating this condition I had in my hip, which was affected many kids in the world, and they'd gone decreased instead of increased in doing things better. And I joined a football team, my first football team. I was so happy because when I was young, I wasn't able to play football. So when I was getting older, I was enjoying the things that people had already enjoyed. And I think I was about 8, 9, 10 when I joined my first football team. For you people in America, it's soccer. It's big over here in the UK, you should know that by now. And I loved it, and I was getting older. Went to high school, became like very popular in sport. That's all I did, biking, everything. I'm just sport crazy. I loved it all as a kid, and I still do today. So all the teachers knew I was, especially in sport, and I was doing these, and I was very happy with my life. And I remember like 15, 16, 17, I didn't really class this as a condition. Like, I didn't class myself as, I thought I was just a normal kid. It didn't really affect me, like my walking or anything. Not many people knew about it in my high school because you don't really tell anyone. And because I was getting better, the leg was getting better. So it's kind of something that you do outgrow when you're older, but you suffer from it as a very, very young child. So I didn't class as it, and then I turned about 18, and they discharged me from the hospital. So this is only 3 years ago, well, like 2.5, nearly 3 years ago. They discharged me from the hospital saying, we don't need you here. You are perfectly normal. You have a normal hip like anyone else would as at your age. If not, you have a better one because of the development that you gained. The only thing that I will suffer from when I'm old, like an old man, is arthritis in the hip, and that would just be like pains. And I used to get pains constantly. I'd wake up in the middle of the night in agony, and my mum and dad would not know what to do. I would be in absolute pain. And today, guys, what causes the pain now in the hip from every so often, like once in a blue moon, is like the cold weather. It like gets to it, and it makes it really, really cold, and that's what affects people in arthritis. So I can see that it does still affect me, but it's not no way near as bad. And I can play sport, and I just love my life now. I can't complain. I just don't think anyone should sit there and think, he's a YouTuber, he's a superhero, he has no problems. We all have problems. And it's the whole part of this series, guys, so you guys understand about my life and what I did as a kid and what I had to suffer with. YouTube is only one part of my life, and it will always just be one part of my life. I have a social life. I have lots of other things that go on in my life that I just don't share with you guys. Not because I don't want to, because we all have those things in life that you keep to yourself and keep precious. But that is the first episode of my Throwback Thursday, guys. I am okay now. I can walk fine. You've seen me walk fine. I'm a healthy human being. I play football, sport every single week. without any problems at all. So hopefully you did enjoy this, guys. Let me know what you personally do think about this condition, this Perthes disease. It's not really a disease, it's more of a, it's not a disease, I don't class it as a disease at all. So if you know anyone who has this, or anyone who suffers, any of you guys suffer from it and you're younger, and would like any advice or any knowledge on it, I will be sure to let you know. So thumbs it up, guys. I appreciate the support. Have a great day. Until next week, I'll catch you next time. Bye!